Okay, welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I'm your host, Ty Spiker Christensen, because she got a great and your head's way up it. We've got Jordan Christensen on the pod.
You can die walking your doggy.
And we've got Bryce Laidler on the pod.
You do what you do best. Try to stop guys like me.
Oh, dude. Alex.
You know what's so funny?
I can't do the accent at all.
Yeah, I can't either, which is why I like to do it, like, cartoonishly bad. Like, I gotta give it to Pacino. I mock him a lot, but I love that he's going for it. Like, he is going for it, dude, in this movie. Give me all you got!
Give me all you got.
Give me all you got! I can't do it, dude. Oh, guys, we're discussing Heat.
Wrapped up in garbage bags.
Again, insomnia. We're just never gonna let that go, dude. Oh, my word. Guys, we're discussing Heat. This movie was directed by Michael Mann, written by Michael Mann, came out in 1995, rather.
My man.
The movie is 2 hours and 50 minutes long. Michael, my man. And it stars Al Pacino. Hey, okay.
And that was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And it's got, I know, right? I think it's pretty good. That's the only thing I can't say anything else like him except okay. And we got Robert De Niro, Val Kilmer, John Voight, Tom Sizemore, Diane Venora, Amy Brenneman, Ashley Judd. Ashley Judd, I thought I recognized her. And it's got Dennis Haysbert, also known as Allstate. It was weird to see him as an actor, you know, again. Like, I only see him in Allstate commercials these days. He was President Palmer in 24. And then I guess he was done acting after that. Allstate's paying the bills. What do you need to be acting in movies like this for? Ted Levine,
Well,
I'll never forget him as Buffalo Bill in...
He's still acting. He's
I guess it's he's pretending that he likes Allstate.
Yeah. He's acting like Allstate's a good company.
He's pretending like he's covered by Allstate, exactly. But Ted Levine is the terrifying Buffalo Bill in The Silence of the Lambs. I can't see, even with that big bushy mustache they have him in, I'm like, that's still a psychotic murderer.
He's in Psych apparently as well.
Is that right? Terrifying. Just terrifying. I'm sorry. It's just terrifying. He's always scary. Natalie Portman shows up in
voice. Can you do his voice?
Who? The Allstate man? Or
no.
Puts the lotion on the skin again. That was so bad. I can't do it without laughing.
Oh, he was in Flubber, wasn't he?
You sounded like you were constipated right there.
That's my impression of Ted Levine. I'm like trying to hold back a fart. I can't do it right. Anyway, it's also got Hank Azaria, who I remember as the Fork Man. What's his name in The Mystery Men? The Raj. What's his name?
Blue Raja.
The Blue Raja. That's what it was. I was like, what was his name?
I will forgive you if you forget.
He's like I'm not stab man, I'm not knife boy.
That movie is dangerously underrated, I just have to say.
Oh yeah.
We love it here on the pod. We reviewed it already. So guys, we're talking about Heat, this movie. Quick plot synopsis. It says a group of high-end professional thieves start to feel the heat from the LAPD when they unknowingly leave a clue at their latest heist.
Who writes
I don't even remember what that clue was. What is the clue?
I want to be the guy. I want to be the guy that writes those.
Yeah.
Because some of them are so off.
Well, yeah, it tells you everything and tells you nothing. Exactly. Some of them spoil the plot and some of them don't. Like, they leave it pretty ambiguous. Some of them explain the first 3 minutes of the movie and nothing else.
And you mentioned Natalie Portman's in this, right, too, right?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yes. It's weird because she's doing her impression of the girl in Leon the Professional, you know? That's what I thought of anyway. But she's, I don't know, kind of like goes missing for most of the movie and then shows up in a major way at the end. That was kind of crazy. So anyway, let's get into what was it like watching this movie for the first time and rewatching it for the podcast. Let's start with you, Jordan.
Okay, so yes, this movie is in my top 10 movies of all time. I am obsessed with
top
this movie.
10?
Yes, easily.
Well, wait, but did you mention it when we did the podcast or not? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah.
Or did it rise the ranks?
Might have. I don't remember.
It might have.
But anyways,
No.
A guy at work recommended it, and he listens to a podcast that I end up listening to afterwards, Rewatchables, and they talked about they've done it 3 times on their podcast. They call it the Reheat, and the third episode they interviewed Michael Mann, which was really fun. And it's just oh my gosh, like the first time I watched this, I watched it on big screen. I wished I watched it on the projector. I watched it the second time on the projector, and this movie you have to watch on the big screen. And Ty, if you watched it on your phone or iPad, it was a crime.
I watched it like 3 inches from my face, so it felt like it was a big screen.
No,
you know?
what a shame. Anyways, this is a type of movie you need to see on a big screen. And
to be fair, it's probably a movie that you should try to watch in one sitting. It took me like 3 different sittings to watch this, as a true millennial.
Yeah, that was like when I watched this with Tyler, and he's like, it was okay. And I'm like, he was on his phone the entire time. I'm like, don't even talk to me. I'm like, don't talk to me.
Don't talk to me, mother effer.
Don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
Okay, but so yeah, I love this movie. It's a perfect movie to see on a big screen. Like, they're great. Those machine guns, like, tell me that those don't sound so cool, like oh my gosh, and it like echoes through the city. Oh my gosh, so good.
I haven't seen a shootout like that since what was the other movie?
Den of Thieves.
Yeah, exactly.
Or The Town.
Exactly. Or The Town. Yeah, big shootout.
Those are both like predecessors.
I mean,
this was the predecessor to those.
Not to be picky, but wouldn't the sound system matter more about the gunshots than the screen size? I'm just saying.
No, I'm talking about surround sound.
You're like, you need to see it on a big screen, and then you're like, listen to the sound of the guns, and I'm like,
yeah, no, I was saying as
I'm
well.
Kidding. I'm kidding. It was a joke.
Okay.
You can cut that
Well,
out.
I forgot to mention that detail.
Big screen, big speakers. Yeah, I agree. Like, the more immersed you can get, that's why Last Night in Soho worked for me, because I went and saw movies like Tenet, and I loved it. But gosh dang it, my theater, the closest one near me, plays movies way too quietly. Like, way too quietly. But thankfully I sat like right under the speaker, so I was able to enjoy Tenet. Every other film I just struggled to get into because I could hear the fat tart that's sitting next to me eating popcorn, and I can't hear the movie. I hear all the other people in the theater talking. But when I went to Last Night in Soho, amazing experience. Completely just in the movie. Couldn't hear anything. I couldn't even hear my own thoughts. It was just so loud. It was great. Movie theaters, turn up your volume. At least here in Madison, it's the worst. So, what was it like watching Heat for the first time? For me, I watched it the first time, and I am sorry to say, I watched like the first...
Funny, you've changed your opinion about movie theaters, because earlier you were saying during COVID that you're like, no, you're saying, you know what, I'd rather watch movies at home. Is that what you just...
It's true. No, it's true. But if I am going to go to the theater, they better have it fetching loud, man. I want to hear that movie. I want to be blown away. Is it obvious? I'm trying to do Al Pacino stuff.
Yeah.
I really want to
like Christopher Nolan movies, yes, belong on the big screen.
Yeah, long movies, big screen. But like my projector at home is pretty dang big. I mean, it fills the entire wall, and I'm like,
did you?
Yes.
But did you watch this on the projector?
No, I did not watch this movie Heat on the projector. Watched it on my iPad at night, just my headphones, And I understand that there are movies like this that I should be, but that's not part of the reason why. I just, for whatever reason, I like misunderstood the plot and what the heist was, so I just got really disinterested really quickly the first time I tried to watch it. And then years later, I'm like, let's do it on the pod. Bryce, Jordan, you guys love this movie, and I'm like, I want to watch it. I loved this movie on second viewing, which technically is my whole first time watching
first
it.
time.
So loved it. I loved it, guys. This movie blew me away because I was like, this is really good. I can't believe it's a 1995 film. That's what blows me away. Like, this movie would be impressive today, and it's still good today. It holds up. So anyway, I very much liked it on rewatch, even though technically I would say all the way through this is my first time watching. So, Bryce, how about you, man? What was it like watching the first time and rewatching it for the podcast?
Let me say that I agree with Jordan. This is probably a top 10 all-time movie. If we're counting the top 10 worst movies of all time. No, I'm just kidding. This movie's great. The first time I saw it, I think, was in 95. I went to the theater and watched it. And back then, I don't think we were...
Well, I would have been 3 years old, so I'm sure my parents would have taken me and signed me in.
Yeah,
allowed
probably.
Me to go in,
probably.
Right,
no, I mean, like, there weren't many, like, really, really long movies back then, I don't think. I don't remember. Because, no one really wanted to sit in the theater that long. And you had other things to do or whatever. So
at least not without an intermission, you had like movies like Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and Ben-Hur,
where they like stop halfway through and then they go. So so I remember it being long, but I remember like just being glued to it. And then I watched it again about maybe 2 years ago. I kind of got on a Casino Heat kick, where I was watching like Scorsese's 2 good movies. He kind of peaked, I think, with those, and then I've never really liked anything he's done since. But the second time...
Not a fan of Wolf of Wall Street, huh?
You know what? I'm a fan of DiCaprio in it. I think he's great, but I thought the movie itself was a little lackluster. And not that it's horrible. I mean, it's better than still probably, I'd say, 65% of the movies out there that come out that are somewhat dramatic, but...
I'm kidding. I love Hugo.
but no, so rewatching it again, I just realized how many like cool lines are in this movie. Just great, like not necessarily one-liners, but just dialogue, and just the conversations and the I guess. I didn't notice that as much the first time. This time, kind of like almost watching it, knowing I'm gonna have to talk about it, was really cool just to hear everything that kind of went into it from a script standpoint. So it was cool. It's still amazing.
Yeah. So let's get into two of our favorite things. Jordan, why don't you hit us off? What are your two favorite things from this movie?
Definitely be the performances. Like Ty was mentioning, all the actors, it's stacked with so many people. I mean...
Dude, like, this is Pacino and De Niro at, like, the height of their...
power.
I don't know. Like, at least because they had come off of, let's see, before this you had...
Yeah, Raging Bull, Taxi Driver...
Right, Taxi Driver.
Don't forget about...
he was also in Godfather, too, which he won the Academy Award for.
Yeah.
And then you also had Pacino that was in Godfather. Like, just...
And Dog Day Afternoon.
Yeah. Exactly. Like, so this is like...
And I had just seen all those movies.
Yeah.
And so seeing this was such a treat because I was just, like, in love with their work. And seeing them, like, sitting in the bar for the first time, like, that scene is electric. Like, you can just feel...
Or at the cafe? Or
sorry.
Or is it the bar?
It's a cafe. I don't know
the one where they're talking, right? Yeah. I love that.
Yeah, and there was apparently a rumor
diner.
that went around that they weren't actually in the same room together because they're just they have too big egos and stuff. And so they're in different places, but the interview with the director said, he's like, no, that's completely false. That's not true.
I love that though. Yeah, because it's shot over the shoulder. You never see the two of them in a frame really together, like for most of the movie.
Yeah, well, he said so he kept getting tighter and tighter as the tension was building, and he said he could never cut away to a wide shot of both of them in the room, so you didn't see that shot. But he said he did have that. It's just he just said that it was too good because they just...
It's like, look, I don't want to start another beef like Vin Diesel and The Rock not getting along, and then we have to make Hobbs and Shaw Fast Five, and then we have to make Heat with just Al Pacino, and then make Heat with just, De Niro. You're like, they're friends. They all get along. Who knows, right? I would love to hear if they're actually friends in real life or not, because I don't get the sense that... I love their chemistry, even though, like I said, in this movie, it doesn't seem like they interact much. So I did enjoy the chemistry they did have. Even just talking about each other,
The second thing, it would have to be the Michael Mann style. He likes to use, I believe it's a telephoto lens. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a really long lens that essentially he zooms super close in, and then the background is super blurred, and all you can see is just their faces and expressions. I love those shots. They're so good. You just really feel intimate, and you feel like you're feeling and seeing that person's emotions, and I love that. So I just think he's so good. And amazing at action. I mean, I won't even get into that, but it's so good.
For sure. Bryce, how about you? Two of your favorite things from this movie?
I think we've kind of, all mentioned it or said it before, but the casting. And we forgot Danny Trejo, man. Like, he's not
Danny
even...
Trejo said it,
we didn't even mention him. Like, he wasn't even in the... Like, I think you have to wait till, 47th to see his name in the credits or something. And, I was like, hey, that's Machete. But,
William Fichtner, too.
Yeah,
Or Spy Kids.
Yeah.
Right? No, I mean, so the casting from top to bottom, is great. I think that's that really makes it. Every role is. I mean, even Dennis Haysbert's wife, mom, sister, whoever that woman is with him that's proud of him, like even that minor role, she's really good in it. Like everyone's just brilliant. Even the security guard that gets hit in the back of the head, the way he falls down was so realistic that I'm obviously being facetious on that one, but no, I just the
performance,
the casting, the acting, everything.
Sure. I was like, I don't want to mock you either. I'm like, hey man, it's great.
You mentioned 24
yeah.
With Dennis Haysbert being the president, but the dude that she cheats on Pacino with, he's in 24 too. When he's like, what was that guy's name? When he comes home and he finds him there and he's watching his TV and he's like, you can't watch my TV. Like,
he was the guy that flies the plane. He gets cancer or whatever, whatever. He gets nuclear radiation poisoning. Yes.
So I mean,
that is hilarious that you say that, because I totally forgot that scene.
It's like so many people from that movie are huge, and it's like they're like bit parts, like no names. So it just kind of goes to show how great the casting was. And then I think the I think the second thing is even though it's a really long movie, I guess unless you're Thai, it doesn't feel like a really long movie. Like to me, it didn't feel like it was, almost 3 hours long. It goes by really quick. The storytelling is fluid. It jumps from scene to scene. I don't think there's a slow part in the movie. It jumps even when it's not action. Like it's so engaging that as a fan, you're just watching it and you get sucked into it. And so the runtime doesn't seem like an issue at all. So I think those are my two favorite things from the movie.
We also forgot to mention the actor with the beard that says you just reach out in the what does he say, and you just grab it, from essentially the internet or space or whatever he's talking about. I couldn't really follow everything he's saying. He's the guy that plays in Last Action Hero. Oh yeah.
Have you ever seen Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger?
Yeah, I have.
He's the guy that comes back and he's the axe murderer or whatever. I love that guy. I don't know what his name is, but I was like, hey, he's
that guy, dude.
He's in a wheelchair. They never quite explained why he was in a wheelchair in that movie. Or maybe they did and I missed it. But no, he's a cool character too.
Yeah, well, he's also the serial killer in Manhunter, and he's so good. Oh my gosh. And
really?
Which is also another Michael Mann film, so.
Interesting. I love when directors work with actors. They like we talked about Denny Villeneuve. What's that Polka Dot Man? He's like in every Denny Villeneuve movie, and you don't almost notice it until like you're watching.
Well, because he usually plays side characters.
Yeah,
well,
yes,
but
so
you can
good.
Notice, Michael Caine in all of Christopher Nolan's movies.
Yes, there are some actors that are just so doggone famous, but also they don't even tweak their performance. Like not to bash on Michael Caine, he's a great actor, and you should see his old work when he was younger. But like now he's just like an old man. He's like, I don't even need to try. Like I've got an awesome accent. Here I am wearing a nice suit. What's up?
Have you seen any of Michael Caine's old work?
Yeah, the one I'm thinking of right now, Muppet's Christmas Carol, which is amazing. It plays Ebenezer Scrooge, but he's still playing a conjuring old fool, or whatever.
Dude, you should see Dressed to Kill. He's so good in
Dressed to
that.
Kill, which is the one with, it's like a playwright. It's like he's married to a and then he murders his wife with his, what's that movie?
I think it's Dressed to Kill, but I don't know.
Is it Dressed to Kill? Maybe it's that one. It's really good. I loved it. It's a good twist. It was like a psychological thriller. Kind of harkens back to like What Lies Beneath. Anyway, it's really good. I liked it. So, but man, Michael Caine's, he's not dead yet. I was gonna say he's rolling in his grave. He's still alive, but I'm thinking like, I don't know, he's probably embarrassed that I know so little about his it's like his whole autobiography of all
different generation.
But, yeah, different generation. Exactly. Why aren't you younger, Michael Caine? I have like a beef with him. Also, in this movie, Val Kilmer, like I feel like in an alternate universe, Val Kilmer was like the biggest action star of like ever. But in this movie, like I think after this, or maybe it was a Batman and Robin that killed him, or which one was it? Batman Forever, I think was the one. But like he was Batman once, like once and done, I guess. And like after that, he kind of dropped off, just like Brendan Fraser, like. Val Kilmer and Brendan Fraser, what happened to those two men? Like, they were going to be awesome action stars.
Well, did you see the Val documentary?
No, what happened to him?
His voice, like, he has one of those things you have to put in your throat to talk.
No way. Yeah. Like a stoma? Or like a hole in his
Didn't he have, like, throat cancer, I think?
Oh, that's sad. I didn't know that. Now I feel bad.
Yeah.
I feel really bad for you, Val.
But his son sounds just like him. So in the documentary, his son read a script that he wrote. And so
Oh, no way. That's crazy.
It sounds like he's narrating it, but it's actually his son.
We lost too many good actors to these diseases. That's sad because it's like, you can still be an action star, you just can't talk. Arnold Schwarzenegger can't talk, and he's an action star. So I just don't get why Val Kilmer doesn't get the pass. I guess he's not Austrian. I don't know. Didn't become the governor of California. Anyway, I loved Val Kilmer in this movie. The blonde ponytail, he was, I don't know, I liked him. I thought the reveal at the end where he's the guy that's with the Blue Raja's wife or whatever. Why did I ever get tangled up with this bee?
wait. No, it's his wife. Blue Raja's cheating on her. That's why, or cheating. She's cheating on him with Blue Raja. It's not his wife.
No, I thought she was.
No, she's
married to Val Kilmer.
She's married to Val Kilmer. She calls him to come get her and says, "If you want me, you have me. I'm leaving him, so you come get me." And then the cops jump in and use him. To try to trap her.
I'm an idiot. See, again, long movie, lots of characters, lots of relationships. So Natalie Portman
he's like after 2 hours, it's just all boo.
So Natalie Portman was De Niro's daughter.
The best cheating scene though is definitely the guy, the one from 24 when he's in the bedroom using the TV.
Oh my gosh, Al Pacino.
You can't use my TV.
Oh,
No,
that's so bad. That scene. You sit down. You make yourself comfortable. It's so uncomfortable. He like keeps trying to get up to. I'll just go. He's like, no, you sit right where you are. Like, oh, it makes me so uncomfortable. You're like, just get out. He's gonna kill you. He's gonna murder you. Oh, his wife is like, this is what you did, or like this is a product of all your love, or whatever. Like, oh my gosh. Ugh. Anyway, oh, it's pretty painful. Guys, my two favorite things. So I mentioned Al Pacino just going for it. I love Pacino. He reminds me of Nicolas Cage in the respect that I feel like he's an actor that just goes ham, and for better or for worse, but he's like giving it all he's got. Give me all you got. It's so good. I love it. His performance in this sold me. I was like, just manic, crazy detective, which is crazy when I see Insomnia. I'm like, this guy's been doing this a long time. So, love Pacino. He's my favorite part about this movie.
I like how you mentioned these films that aren't that old. Like, if you go back even further, Dog Day Afternoon, like, that,
right,
it's just funny.
Yeah, and even The Godfather, although The Godfather's so good.
Yeah, there you go. That would be saying, see, he's been doing it forever. But you just mentioned Insomnia, which wasn't that far apart from
much
Heat.
Longer, yeah, but again, it's the same.
And I think technically, didn't Insomnia come out after Heat? It did.
No, it did, but I'm just saying it's like the same role now. He's the manic, old, sad detective that doesn't play by anyone's rules, and he's a dirty cop. He's like the best dirty cop of all time.
Unless you're talking about Jack and Jill.
Dunkachino, right? I would say the worst thing was no. Let's see, who plays Bad Lieutenant? Is it Keitel? Harvey Keitel? Is that his name? I think so. Bad Lieutenant, or is that Nicolas Cage? What am I thinking of?
Nicolas Cage, and there's two parts of Bad Lieutenant.
There's Harvey Keitel. He plays a bad cop. Gene Hackman in The French Connection. What am I thinking of? Who plays like the dirty cop always, like in movies? I would say Al Pacino is the guy, and who's the next one up? Like, if you think of dirty cop, what's the first name that comes to your head? Like, to me, it's Al Pacino, and then I can't think of another. Like, he is the dirtiest cop out there. I guess Harvey Keitel and Bad Lieutenant, right? It's Bad Lieutenant, right? Or am I thinking of a Nicolas Cage movie? I can't remember. Anyway, doesn't matter.
They both played that part.
They both played Bad Lieutenant.
Because there's two Bad Lieutenants.
Oh, there is? Got it. Okay,
well,
so I'm thinking...
as Harvey Keitel, is he the guy from Reservoir Dogs?
Yes, he is.
Yes.
In Pulp Fiction. But see, now that I think about it, he wasn't really a cop. He was Mr. Wolf in Pulp Fiction, and he was just a bank robber in Reservoir. So I guess I don't know what I'm talking about. Just a guy in a suit that seems like he's a good guy, but he's not. What I liked about Pacino is, like, it was a two-dimensional character. So the second thing, not only his performance, I like his character. It was really well written, where he's, like, a really plagued detective. Like... This kind of reminds me of Wolf of Wall Street in the sense that the detective at the end, it's like really sad. He's like on a subway bus, cramped between other people, like trying to do the right thing. This guy has like a daughter or like a stepdaughter, like on the brink of committing suicide. He's got a wife that's now cheating on him.
Well, he makes much more flawed characters. I like that.
Yes,
they're much more relatable. They're two-dimensional. I mean,
yes.
They're pretty sleazy people, but...
Yeah, like Pacino, there's a lot that's not redeemable about him, but what's so incredible is, like I said, he's going for it, but I'm like... What a complex character. Like, I don't know how to feel about him, and I think that's a really good thing. Like, I'm tired of, like, I just watched
it's all these...
Shang-Chi, and I know exactly how I'm supposed to feel about everyone. But in this movie, I'm conflicted, and I like that. I like being conflicted. I like movies that are complicated. I'm not spoon-fed by my morality. Just enjoy it. The characters are complex, well-rounded, two-dimensional. Love it. Three-dimensional.
Well, and then you almost don't, like...
three, yeah.
Three-dimensional.
You don't... Like, I watch it, and I really don't root for Pacino. Like, I kind of want De Niro to get, and you're supposed you're supposed to root for the cops. You're supposed to root for the good guys to get the bad guys. And even though, like, De Niro, how many cops did they kill? How many, you know what I mean? But at the end, you're still wanting him to get away. You're still like, no, go.
I don't know.
Go ahead.
Did you get the same feeling when he picked up the kid? You're like, all right, good call. Like, that was horrible. I felt so bad about that, but I was like, oh, maybe he's gonna get away with this. And he picks up and uses the kid as a shield.
That was pretty crazy. He just shoots him away, like not.
I know that poor kid's gonna go through so much trauma.
I know, dude. But
it's like even after all that, I feel like we all, like as audience, you're pulling for them to get away with this. You know, and even if they had written it to where he had put the kid down and still got away, you'd still be like, oh, okay, good, they got away. They didn't die, even though they kill how many cops on their way out, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, you know,
right.
De Niro got
De
away.
Niro's
Like,
girlfriend,
great, you know?
Yeah, De Niro's girlfriend, like, is, like, gonna go with him. I don't know if I buy that.
Yeah,
That's
I was
I'm like, what? Like, you just found out he's murdering people and cops that afternoon?
Women love bad boys, man. I mean, they do. That's what I was thinking.
Last, right? Yeah.
Like, it's like, once the initial shot got over with, she's kind of like... Dude,
when he's chasing her up the grassy knoll, he's like, "Hey, it's gonna be okay." I don't know why he scares me so much, dude. I thought he was gonna murder her or strangle her right there on that grassy knoll. I thought that's what he was doing. He was like, "It's gonna be okay," and he was gonna start strangling her.
I'm just curious.
She tried to run.
I'm just curious, how the heck could she rent that house overlooking the city like that?
Yeah,
on an artist's salary.
That was gorgeous.
She's just like, "Oh, I'm an artist. I don't do anything, but come over to my house where I have this view of this valley that you can see entire."
See, now you're blowing my mind. I thought that was his place.
No, his place is the one with no furniture on the water. He has no furniture, like Val Kilmer goes and crashes on his house. Yeah, when they get in the fight. Did you even watch the movie?
Yeah, well, it's his first time.
I did but like I said, it just mixed up whose place was whose. Yeah.
Well, and it's a little bit like it just reminds me of. I don't like to compare Michael Mann to Michael Bay, but I will. But just with some of his shots, like he just like. Is a little bit of a slave to like making things look so cool and beautiful. So it's like, it's in order. I mean, there's going to be maybe some parts of the story.
Yeah, we don't want to see a dingy old apartment. We don't want half the movie filmed there. We want like these really romantic escapes and getaways. You know, we want like a nice, sleek house with a beautiful.
Reminds
girl
me of Tenet, where
man.
every couple minutes it's like, oh, let's go to a new beautiful location and a new one.
Beautiful locations. Yeah, why not?
Let's explain dialogue on that boat, and nobody can hear what they're saying.
But it was a cool activity. I want to do that windsurfing. It looks intense. So, I love it. So, those are my two favorite things. Well-rounded character and Pacino's performance. So, anyway, do you guys have any nitpicks or things you wanted to throw out? Or I guess, nitpicks. Yeah, I was just surprised that she turned so quickly. Like, I was like, I'm almost certain there's going to be a scene where she, like, turns on him. But they also had that scene with Val Kilmer's wife, which I'm just learning was his wife and not her boyfriend. But, anyway. Now I'm starting to understand why he said, why I ever got entangled up with that bee. I was like, is he referring to his entire marriage? I was like, what a loveless marriage. But he's talking about the one fling he had with her. Yeah. It's making a little more sense now.
That's why they were in a hotel room when he caught him. As he was leaving the hotel. Like, why would she be in a hotel with her husband? You know what I mean? Like...
waiting for the lover. I don't know. He's like, I'm safe here with all these policemen, and we're just waiting for this boyfriend to show up, Anyway, that's what I thought. So
yeah.
Which is great because she signals to him. Like,
I don't know what she does. She,
like,
earlier in the hotel. You're referring to the ending.
Oh. No, I'm talking about,
earlier in the hotel.
When De Niro catches, he leaves the hotel, and then he goes in and he, like, catches her, and he says, you're going to give him one more chance, and then if he screws
that
up...
was her. That's right. I thought that was another broad. I'm an idiot. I thought that was a different woman he was yelling at. It's, like, De Niro was scaring me. He, like, goes up to her, and he's like, hey, you're going to forgive him. You're going to give him one more chance. And, like, it's the scariest thing, dude. I wasn't focused on her. I was focused on him. Like, he is so scary. I was like, yes, I will forgive my cheating husband or whatever or all because Val Kilmer. See, I thought Val Kilmer. I'm so confused now. Why was he giving her such shit? He's a terrible man. See, you guys are rooting for De Niro. I don't. He scares me, dude. He's terrifying. Like he's a psychotic killer. Don't get attached to anything. If you spot heat that you couldn't walk away from in 30 seconds, like that's the whole his character. And at the end, he's sitting there. He's got his girl in the car.
Oh,
Pacino's running at him.
Like, he could have got away.
Good. Could he have though?
Yeah.
So involved her. No.
So Mike,
couldn't have gotten away in time.
That scene is one of my. I mean, I don't have very many nitpicks.
I'm talking about when he's driving to the airport and with her in the car.
He could have. Yeah. And one more detour. We got time. Yeah, he should have. I knew as soon as he did that, I'm like, oh.
Ty, when he told him where he was in the hotel, did you know it was like? Or did you probably check the time, right?
No, I just knew he was going to go after him. Like, I just knew because of the conversation when he said walk away from something in 30 seconds. I'm like, he is going to walk away from something in 30 seconds. And I thought it was going to be during the heist. He was going to be like, scrap my team. But no, he was like, he carried Val Kilmer even though he'd been shot. I was like, dude, he's in this to win this, or lose it. Like, he's like, we die together or, not at all or whatever.
This is one thing. So this is a great thing about this. Let me make this point because I thought about saying this, even though it's not a nitpick, but we're kind of talking about it. Like, so Mann, the director here, this guy, like.
Two names.
As that Michael Mann. The thing is like I always confuse this I always think of this as a Scorsese film because it feels like it to me. And then again, watching Departed, Casino, all this at the same time as this, like I get confused. But anyway, Michael Mann with this movie, he really created a modern day Greek tragedy. Where these characters, it's a tragedy. That's what it is at the end of the movie. When you're like, just go. Like the guy says, you got a free exit, and you're gonna blow it. So
your girl,
you're home free. You've got money. You've got whatever. Just go. She picked you. Like everything is now finally lined up. And then what do? You Romeo and Juliet.
Revenge.
He could have come back years later for revenge or something.
Yeah. But
in
so
the moment.
This brings me to one of my nitpicks of all places to park when you're going to go in and kill this guy. If you know you're going to do the fire alarm, why would you park in the fire lane on the thing where you're going to trap yourself in with fire trucks, which is exactly what he did. Like all the fire trucks. And if he knows, like he's super methodical, he's super planned out, like, he's going to steal this, he goes up, he sets up, and then all of a sudden, like he traps himself. What was he going to do? Even if sit in the car there and then like the fire people would have told her to move. You know what I mean? Like if a massive.
Well, this wasn't in his plan though, so I think that's maybe why.
You think that was all improvised?
He is the character.
He literally devised the plan while he's on the freeway, barely takes the exit in time. So I agree, Bryce, with what you're saying.
Yeah.
He's mostly methodical, but this was like the one time in his life where he's now going to do something out of spite. Like he didn't need to do this at all. Like in fact,
and he just lost his best
scratching
friend.
our heads.
No,
exactly.
but the whole when he killed Fitchner. That was all. I mean, he snuck into the guy, breaks the chair, manages to kill him without anybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I mean, like, yes.
Well, he doesn't manage. Remember, he slips away. Are you talking about the guy in the trunk? He's gonna.
No. I'm telling you, the guy that set him up that has Henry Rollins. That character. Henry Rollins is his henchman. The rich guy that they were trying to sell the bombs back to.
Roger Van Zant. Van Zant. Yeah. I just know him as the bank teller in Dark Knight.
Yeah, that's right.
You and your friends are dead. That's what I know him from.
Yeah. So that dude, that was kind of an impulse kill too. But I just think everything was a little more thought out than that end scene. And then to me, that was a little bit.
Needed that scene where Pacino, because they foreshadowed this in the diner. See, it was like, there's going to be a moment.
Agree.
Where
I just
I'm
feel
looking at you, and
it could have been set up. I think.
Pacino.
And then my other
I
nitpick.
don't know how to do De Niro.
My other nitpick right off of that is like I grew up in L.A. and like. They're not that close to the airport. Like he jumps a hedge and now he's like airport hangar, and he's running through the runway and stuff. Like I was kind of like, come on.
Is like the planes are taking off. There are people sprinting across the runway and the planes are still taking off and landing. They're like, we don't care.
Yeah,
this could probably just be work. Like people in trench coats running after each other with a shotgun. Their plane is like, we're still gonna take off. Who cares?
But it looks so good.
It's cool.
This is pre 9/11, dude. I get it.
And I get probably
when they do that.
Trying to film a blockbuster in LA, I'm sure is a nightmare, and so you have to give a little bit.
Yeah.
Like none of them ever have traffic. Like they're like, oh, beep 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 beep, and they're at the crime scene in 5 minutes. Like that drive from where you are to where they're going is a 2-hour drive in LA. Like I used to live there. I know. Like, and I know you've got to suspend some of that, but like
Bryce, you're talking to two people that have no spatial awareness, like or directional awareness. I don't know. In my own home, I don't know what direction is north and south in any given room. I really don't. I am so we moved so much growing up. My dad, he'd sold drugs or whatever, so we had to change school systems a lot. And I didn't study a map ever. I missed.
He's a pharmacist. I just want to make sure.
Yeah, legal drugs.
People aren't showing up at my house. Show up at Ty's house, please.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Don't need the DA or DEA or whatever they're called to bust in.
No, you're talking about the EPA and the KFC, Jordan. So, guys, we've got guys. Let's get into this
KFC
movie.
Can bust in.
Quotes?
That's fine.
That's right, guys. What are your quotes from this movie, dude? We've already said some of the best ones. I love it. I'm a good citizen. Yeah, and I'm Donald Duck. Dude, Pacino's great, dude. Freaking love it. Love it. You said the killed walking your doggy. I love that one. You get killed walking your doggy.
I guess my only other nitpick was, do we think he would be able to catch? It was just a pretty big connection to catch him saying slick. Like, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's a...
Oh, you said slick? Oh, he calls him slick, huh? Oh, tell me more about that. Yes.
Yeah, and that was a little...
That's great.
Because it's almost like
slick.
Bud. Like, you know, like, he calls him Bud? Bud? You know what I mean? Yeah. If it was a little more unique of a name,
Kiddo,
you know?
yeah, or something, yeah. Called him Junior or something, yeah. I don't know.
Oh,
if he said
that
the phrase
a name
happy
though
days,
he gave him?
if he
I
said
thought
the
that was
phrase
just a
happy days all
nickname
the
he
time.
gave people. Oh.
A nickname, yeah, Slick. He goes by the alias Slick. Oh, tell me more. It's great, dude.
Oh, wait, so that was... Okay, I
lot,
misunderstood that whole... I didn't realize they gave him the nickname, so that actually makes sense.
Kids, I keep doing Pacino. I'm going to try to do De Niro. What am I doing? I'm talking to an empty line because there is a dead man on this fucking
yes. I watched this in a room full of just male testosterone dudes, and they're just like, we're like, oh yeah. It was great.
That's so funny, dude. I don't know. I just think it's so funny. Edgar Wright did it in Scott Pilgrim when he's like, the next click you hear after that is me hanging up the phone, and the one after that is me pulling the trigger. I don't know. I think it's so funny because again, if you hear a click when you pull a gun, it means it's empty. Anyway, love the.
I love the
Edgar Wright.
The make a decision right now lines. Like, are you in or you out right now? You know what I mean?
I know,
like,
dude. The poor chef.
Same with
Allstate.
They do it several times throughout the movie where it's like,
are you in or out?
Yeah, are you in or out? They do it with the wife at the end.
There's the door.
Like, are you part or are you you know what I mean? And so I love that kind of recurring theme of you make a decision right now, and it's a major decision, but you're in or you're out.
Under the heat of the pressure.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly.
Yes. Yes. It's good. I love that. Yeah. There were like huge decisions to be made too. Like that poor chef, like working with such a boss. Like he was like, I take your extra pay. You don't get a break. You do this. And I'm like, and he's like, I went away to prison for what my boss is doing. like way worse stuff than that. Like working this, the diner. It just stressed me out. He walks in there. He's like, dude, you have a chance to get a giant score. Are you in or out? I'd be like, oh, screw this. Pushes his boss over. He's like, I'm out of here. Freak it. I'd be like, careful though. You can get charged with assault for, pushing your boss over like that. So.
Well, he didn't have to worry about it because he got a bullet in the head. So.
Well, he didn't have to worry about it in the end, but that was so sad to his wife. Like, he's like, why are you proud of me? That was like, dude, that's why I'm like surprised he's on Allstate commercials. I'm like, this guy is a great actor. Put him in more work. I loved him in this movie. He was like the mini heart next to De Niro because I actually cared about him more than I did about De Niro's love life. I really did.
And did you see?
He's like, why are you proud of me? That scene was so, that really got my feels, man.
Did you see the bacon
Why are you even proud
he was
of me?
putting up when he'd be like, order up, and he put that plate up? Like, that dude could cook too.
Good cook. He does it all, dude.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
No,
Ladies,
I don't know if
He's
you guys
probably
caught
not single.
this, but I love little things like this when directors do it or a script or whoever. But when they were holding up the bank and De Niro says, I want everybody down on the ground. He's like, unless you have a heart condition, you can sit against the wall. And I'm just like, little tiny details like that. And again, that makes him endearing to you, even though he's a bad guy. Like, okay, he's about to kill 18 cops, but he's worried about the one bank teller with a heart condition. Like, hey, you can sit on the wall. Like, it's so crazy to me. Like, somebody thought of that. Was like, hey, yeah, why you say that? We if someone's got a pacemaker, we got to look out for those guys. Like, it's just such cool writing.
Don't need someone dying on us. Yeah. They're professionals, all right?
Well, and there's, speaking of little details, I loved when the guys set off the bomb. I mean, I guess it's not little, but when he set off on the truck and all the car windows all broke.
Oh, that was awesome.
Such a cool scene.
Yeah.
Michael Mann knows how to make things look so cool. Oh, just like I said, it just makes me be so proud to be a man.
The one nitpick and quote we were going to get into is one of my favorite scenes is when Pacino sits down with his wife and he's like, want me to talk about my feelings? He's like, let me share an example about a guy that microwaves his baby because it won't stop crying. And I was like, That's more disturbing than anything shown in this film. So I don't know, like his hypothetical is like more disturbing than catching a killer. Like, I don't know, maybe it's not.
It's not a hypothetical.
Right,
it's one of the cases he had seen.
I didn't think it was a hypothetical at all. I thought it was.
Oh, probably isn't. Like, I got the sense that, he really saw that, but I just thought it was a little funny that he mentioned this to his wife. Like, that's pretty much the most disturbing thing.
He's telling her, this is why I'm not sharing with you. But
I know. It was just a nitpick I had.
Ty's like, I'll share everything with my wife, even the most disgusting.
Yeah, I'll just share the most deplorable things I'd ever done or seen. Well, no, it's not even stuff that he's done. It's like, yes, he sees killers and crooks, but he's not paranoid. He's like very well aware. Like his wife
keeps him sharp, Ty, on the spot.
Keep me sharp. Yes, keeps me sharp.
I felt like it, and I guess this could go to nitpick too. Like she kind of escalated all that pretty quick, because like from the beginning.
Well, you can
of the
tell
movie,
that was from years of whatever they've got going on.
Yeah,
but I mean, still,
I do agree with what you're saying, Bryce.
Because like in the beginning of the movie, and I'm sure
it shows them
like they're
really
they're very intimate. She's whatever, and so I mean, like I'm thinking this movie takes
then
place.
His pager keeps
from
going off, dude.
From start to finish. Maybe a couple weeks, maybe a month. Like from start to finish this. The film, like, and she goes from that, I could see, but she's like, where are you going? And she goes out one night, hooks up with some guy. Like, I don't know. I felt like, yes,
she's bipolar.
No. Bryce, the only reason she's from 24 is because she was tripping on shrooms or whatever. Remember? She's like, I don't even know what I'm on right now.
Yeah, but
she's like, look what she made me do. Now I'm tripping shrooms. She's like, you did this or whatever. That made me laugh so hard. She says it to him. She's like, now look what you made me do. She like literally blames Pacino. She's like, you shutting down, not sharing with me, literally made me do drugs. Like, it made me laugh so hard. Like, I can't remember what she said. If that guy heard it, like, that's like, what an insult, dude. You're the rebound or whatever. You're the revenge fling or whatever. Anyway, it just made me laugh. Like, I agree with you. Like, it seems to escalate. Like, they seem like a very happy couple, but you do realize that this is his second marriage, or his third wife. He's got two ex-wives, So,
but see,
it does make sense in the regard that
she knows that
this
too.
Is a cycle.
You know what I mean? Like, she knows that too. And she knows, as important as he is, like, I felt like they're like, she was definitely the one quitting on it before he was. Like, she knew what she was getting with him, and he was very open about, like, hey, this is who I am. Like, he mentions the three wives. But maybe
she wasn't the best judge of character because she does have a deadbeat ex-father of her child, so the child's messed up, the deadbeat, so she's not the best judge of character, mind you, right? Like, I think that's what we're to understand, because you have Natalie Portman, she's all messed up in the head, and her ex was a total loser. We never even see the character, right? We never see him ever. We hear about him, how he's such a loser.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so she's not a good judge of character is probably the defense in that. But yes, you're right. In the sense that they looked really happy at that dinner, and then he keeps getting paged, and he keeps getting, further and further away from his wife. Eventually she's like, well, I'm doing drugs and cheating on you.
Yeah,
now.
but
It's
like in the space
that escalated pretty quick.
Yeah. The space of a couple weeks,
2 hour and 50 minute movie. No, but let's be real. In the space of a 2 hour and 50 minute movie, that is a long time for characters to change how they feel about somebody, right? I love it, dude. Another great quote. I love when he's like, my life is a disaster zone. I don't know, I think that's so funny. It's like, I'm only as good as the thing I'm chasing. I just love that. And then like the handhold at the end. I wrote this down. Pacino and De Niro when he's dying. I love that moment. They hold hands. I'm like, that's so great.
Well, there was
I love it.
I got like emotional. That was great.
Yeah. Just takes his hand like that. He's complete.
Well, no, it's like they're like I kind of felt like they're opposite ends of the same dice almost,
Yes.
And
both obsessed with
both
this,
they're
I'm obsessed with getting away with it, and you're obsessed with catching
me. Yeah, and if you notice, like, there's a lot of those parallels, like all of the like his crew is out to dinner and they're all celebrating, and then a few minutes later there's the scene of the cops are all out to dinner celebrating it, you know what I mean? And so it's kind of showing you like, hey, like they're just on different sides of the line, but we have essentially the same two groups here,
Yeah, I mean, honestly, cool. I see it as like a brother fighting another brother, and like at the end, it's kind of like I don't know. It's like one beated him, but they are like I love what Bryce said. They're one and the same, just on opposite sides. Like,
it is a fun duality, if you will.
I mean, it's powerful.
And at the end, they're like inseparably connected, which is why I literally like that they took hands.
That's why it was so, because they had respect for each other for what they were doing, even though they were, obviously morally disagreeing on where they stood, but there was that mutual respect of, like, yes, we're opposing forces, but like, I got the better of you this time, and so yeah.
If we can get you to the ER, we can, you can do this again. This has been fun.
Well, but that whole I'm not going back. Like he was all in.
Yeah, there was a similar moment at the end of Last of Mohicans, just kind of that connection between an enemy. It's so, I love it. I think it's so well done because it three-dimensional.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it's so good when they're so equally opposed. Like, again, it's so easy to do crime because you got the detective who's stopping at nothing and at the expense of his marriage and his family life and his social life and everything else, like, even like his own mental welfare, at the expense of catching the criminal who seems to be enjoying himself. There's a great scene when they're like staking out that shipyard pretending, and then the cops all show up and they're like, what was he casing out here? And he goes, he's casing out us. Take a picture, you motherfucker. Hey, love that. And he's like taking pictures of it. It's so gratifying.
So
like,
good.
Oh, he knows that the cop is like, yeah, LAPD. Like, oh, it's
well, the
so
thing
good.
too
like,
is
when he realizes it, he's like, oh.
Pacino, like, we haven't mentioned this, but he like gives up. Like he's like, he got away. I'm going, I'm going to go take a shower and I'm going to watch. Like, he had already resigned to the fact, like, I lost. This guy's gone,
Yep.
And,
he's gone.
Yeah.
He's gone. He's not showing up again.
And almost when he
yeah.
looks at the pager, he almost doesn't go, and she tells him, you can go, just be safe or whatever, and
that look at the end. Do you think that she stand by? I don't know. They lingered on her pretty long. If you were editing this movie, I would say that is a very tragic character. The mother's like sitting there alone in the ER, and her head just slowly like keeps dropping, and then they cut. I don't know. I got the sense that she's kind of sad. Definitely not happy. It wasn't a happy moment because she does tell him to go, and he like runs down those stairs.
She knew,
and then they linger on her. I know. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, what do you think?
Tragic,
she's probably got some guilt going on because she just cheated on him. Her daughter just tried to commit suicide. They barely stabilized her. Now she knows her marriage is falling apart. This guy's could be dying.
But he does ask her, like, can we be together? And he's like, how could you ask that of me? I can't remember their conversation, but basically it was just like, I understand that this is part, like, it does seem like the most empathetic part of her, at least understanding him, because he's like, he says the line, right? I'm only as good as the thing I'm chasing.
Said to him.
Does she say that?
She said it to him, and then he repeated it. He's like, you're correct. Yes,
you're correct. Which is interesting because, again, it's like she was the one that coined the phrase, but maybe she didn't believe it or understand it because...
Well, she said it out of anger. She said it out of anger, and then he's like, but you were right.
You were right, yeah. I like that. I like what you're saying because in the end, she didn't believe it because all throughout the movie, she keeps telling him, like, I have a hard time with all this and because you just shut me out. Like, you just need to open up to me and tell me because I get leftovers, basically, is what she's saying. So, yeah. I love that. Again, that might be a trope now, but like back in '95, like this was like
well, and the people you love
and gross with this,
and especially your significant other, your counterpart, like they know you so well, and they know exactly where to jab you with knives. Like they can know the worst part of you, and so when she said it out of anger, it's like, well, there's truth in that, and so.
Which reminds me, have you seen Marriage Story? That's a good movie.
I can't even get through that. That one gives me so much anxiety.
Oh, I love it.
I try to escape
crime.
It's not an escapism. It's like this is how reality is.
Courtroom drama, and it's a good movie. And it's literally what you just said is using your spouse's weaknesses against one another, and it's good.
Is that the movie where the good pie memes come from?
The good pie memes?
Yeah, like there's a. Where he
that sounds familiar. Like, I know what you're referring to.
He's
but
like
I don't
he like
think
eats
so.
and he's
Good
like
pie.
good pie. Like is that where that's from?
No, it's with Adam Driver.
Yeah. It's Adam Driver. He's the one that does it. But I don't know if it's. I don't.
Oh, is it?
I'm not. I don't see a lot of Adam Driver's
movies.
But there's a meme that goes around where he takes a bite and he says "good pie." And he kind of throws the fork down, or he's like "good pie." Like I'm just wondering if that's where it came from.
I always want to see that again. Yeah. Was Baumbach or whatever? What's his name? No, what's the guy, the director? What's his name?
Noah Baumbach or something?
No, Baumbach, right, yeah. I liked it. It's a courtroom drama, but like you said, it is to that relationship where you use...
I like the Meyerowitz stories better.
Meyerowitz stories is good. Love that movie. Another good Adam Sandler performance, just off of Uncut Gems. But and Punch Drunk Love. Those are Punch Drunk Love. Those are the 3 best performances right there. Even though I love Happy Gilmore, he's very funny, but it's not his best.
Well, two other films that are kind of like Heat is Den of Thieves and Town. We've already mentioned that, but those ones are also excellent films. Like I love Den of Thieves. Ty doesn't love it, but
I liked it. I just remember, I had problems with it, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Like, some actors, like, I will say, like, Gerard Butler doesn't hit me the same way like Mark Wahlberg does for some reason.
You like Marky Mark better?
Okay, well, we're going to talk about Departed soon. It's the idea that, like, he believes it himself. Like, I'm going to throw you under the bus. It's like somebody, like, that you fundamentally love so much, and you're like, we're all laughing with you and at you at the same time, while he thinks that everyone's only laughing with him, if that makes sense. So, like, he might be the butt end of the joke. But Gerard Butler's too cool. I don't know. That's the sense I get from him. Like, I don't laugh at DiCaprio. I don't laugh at Matt Damon. I don't laugh at anyone else. But I laugh at Mark Wahlberg.
It's a sick way of looking at the world, Ty.
Whatever, dude. So, any other things you wanted to add about The Departed? Or The Departed? Gosh, The Heat, excuse me. Anything you wanted to throw about Heat? Or Casino, or any Scorsese's films, Michael Mann films, Michael Bay films?
No. So I have one thing for you guys. I thought of this, and I'm curious as to what you guys would think. If this movie, obviously this was 95, right? So if this movie were to be remade now, 2022, who would you cast as the De Niro? Who would you cast as the Pacino? Who would you cast as some of these characters? Who we have. I was thinking that now, like this would be a cool movie.
Yeah,
that maybe in 15, 20 years someone remakes it, but who would it be?
It's funny because I actually thought of this team up. I was thinking of The Revenant when you had Tom Hardy and Leo. That was like a big deal. Like, it was like 2 big actors showing down. I remember, so maybe Tom Hardy and DiCaprio, or maybe like Brad Pitt and DiCaprio, maybe? I don't know. Like, who would you think, Jordan? Like, I'm trying to think of someone a little more grizzled, though. Like, I mean, like, because all the action stars today are all nerfed. Like, I was thinking of Chris Pratt, but I don't know. I don't think of him as like,
no.
He's too nerfed. He's too Disneyfied, Disneyfied or whatever. Who's grizzly still? So, someone from a freaking, like, you get like a Mel Gibson type, maybe, and then mix him with like Vince Vaughn or something. That'd be good. I'm thinking Driving Across Concrete. Those two going at it. Yeah. But they're not opposed. They're like teammates. But teaming like against each other, I'd watch the heck out of that.
That would be
like,
awesome.
Right? Yeah. So it's like maybe Mel Gibson. Who else though? Like other than Vince Vaughn.
Dude, I'd love to see. I'd love to see
like,
Mel Gibson versus Russell Crowe in something. That'd be pretty cool.
Oh, Crowe.
Okay, yeah. Actually, that would be great.
See, after watching Unhinged, I like that.
Yeah, after seeing Unhinged.
We need to write a movie, Heat 2 or something with Crowe and...
What about Nick Cage, maybe, as a side?
Yeah.
That would be Face Off, too.
No, he could be the Val Kilmer character.
Val Kilmer. Yes.
Oh, yes, yes.
He's the other friend, right? He's the other crazy bank heist robber guy. Yeah, I love it. Dude, I want to see Nick Cage robbing more banks, dude. Having more fun, dude. I love it. All right, so that would be my prediction. Any other actors? Like I said, like just like the biggest stars right now, like I don't know.
No, when I think of biggest stars, it's all these YouTubers, and I'm like,
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking like Tom
Instagram
Holland and Chris
people.
Pratt. I'm just like, I would go see this movie. I really wouldn't. So
you're like the wife. The wife is played by Nicki Minaj or something. You're like, what?
Dude,
they keep trying to throw these pop stars into these roles, and I'm like, they're pop stars, not actresses.
I know. Oh my gosh, have you been watching what's the Steve Martin one? There's Only Murder in the Building.
No, I haven't seen that.
That's
good.
The pop star Selena Gomez. I mean, her outfits are great, but that's about it.
If only her acting was as good as her wardrobe.
Oh, so look,
right?
I've been watching Yellowstone, that series, dude. I have a newfound love for Kevin Costner, dude. He could do anything.
Okay, I've actually seen Kevin Costner.
Kevin Costner could be in something like this too, for sure.
I agree.
Let me float one more. What about Kurt Russell? Is he still in the game? I do love Kurt. I love some Kurt Russell. Could he be? I don't know if he can be.
I mean, we could always.
I liked him in Guardians of the Galaxy too.
You can get Alec Baldwin to shoot somebody. Oh, too soon? Too soon?
Oh my gosh, dude, it's so funny. They said I was gonna make that joke in Departed.
Kurt Russell.
I was waiting. He's like, yeah, Kurt Russell, right? I don't know. I just think of like a chisel.
I just wonder if it would be more campy with Kurt Russell or not. Like,
No,
He does play serious, actually. Never mind.
Yeah, think about Death Proof and think about Hateful Eight, like that Kurt Russell, dude. Like, freaking Bone Tomahawk, Kurt Russell, dude. Like, I think he's got the grit. I think he could do it.
Yeah.
Maybe even Jeff Bridges, but I almost think he might be a little on the older side.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, but I like that. I think that my favorite was Mel Gibson and by far,
Russell Crowe.
What was the other guy? Crowe.
Yeah.
Yes, I love that, especially after watching Unhinged. Bryce, we end every movie podcast by sharing movies that we've seen lately, movies that we're looking forward to seeing. Is there anything on your recently watched list?
I mean, like I just mentioned earlier, I've been watching the heck out of Yellowstone, which isn't a movie; it's a series. But I'm now on season 4. But I've been binge watching the heck out. My wife watched it and she was like, "No, it's really good." And I'm like, whatever. Like 3 episodes in, I bought a belt buckle, a cowboy hat. I'm trying to buy a ranch in Wyoming. Like it full on is legit, man. Like it's phenomenal. So I really haven't watched any real movies here at home just because I've been actually I take it back. I watched Malignant with my daughter. Which is,
don't spoil anything.
I
haven't
don't
seen
spoil
it.
it.
No, I won't spoil it. It's definitely
Okay.
it's definitely worth watching.
I heard it's very campy.
But it is. I was just going to use that word, campy. I think as a 13, 14-year-old boy watching it, you'd probably be like, "Oh, I didn't see it coming." But like I figured it out right away, and like for the sake of it just being a fun horror movie, it was okay. But me and my daughter both were like, "Man, that could have been so much better." But it was like
that's what I heard. I heard it could have been better.
Yeah.
I think they made it for 14, 15-year-olds, not for 40-year-olds that really wanted.
Hey man,
a
Shang-Chi. That's the teenager inside me loves Shang-Chi. I was like, this is great. And then, at the end, like you said, the first half, very different from the second half. It goes
They had me in the first half.
Chronicles
I'm not
of
gonna lie.
Narnia.
Yeah.
Have you seen Shang-Chi, Jordan? I don't want to spoil it, but
I don't care if you do. I really don't want to. I don't care.
Jordan, watch there's a fight scene on the bus, very reminiscent of Jackie Chan. Like I
Oh,
love
really?
it.
Then I'll check
There's
that out.
one awesome scene. Just watch that scene. It's awesome. It's the first fight scene.
Jordan,
like
I'll
16
just
minutes in.
share my Voodoo login with you. You can log in, watch the first 45 minutes, and then just turn
Is it not
off.
on Disney anymore?
Oh, I don't know.
It's still on Disney Plus. Yeah, it's on Disney Plus.
Oh,
yeah.
I've got Disney Plus.
Yeah. But yeah, just check out after the first part. But to be fair, like I said, I was kind of hooked just because I was really interested to see what you were talking about, Bryce. But yeah, it takes a very different turn than what I was expecting. Just because the first half made me feel like this was going to be like, I don't know, like kind of like Rumble at the Bronx, like a Jackie Chan style. But then it gets like way
the characters are getting developed, and you're starting to really who is this guy, and like what's going on, and then all of a sudden you're like, what?
And then it's like, let's just go for it. And I'm like, I mean, kudos for going for it. Like, it's very different than any of the films I've seen from Marvel, but it still had that Disneyfied stamp on it.
I do want to say I do
like
dig
opener.
the tie-in to Iron Man 3 though. I did enjoy that.
Yeah, we won't spoil what that is.
I
loved it too.
I really did like that.
I like that too. Yes.
And then also
you
said
I enjoyed the heck out of that.
Oh, they said they brought somebody already told me who they brought back. It's the guy, the crazy
Trevor.
Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley.
Ben Kingsley's character is Trevor. It's great.
But they kind of explain it a little more.
I mean, no harm. I come in peace. I'm merely an entertainer. Do not feel threatened. Funniest line of the whole movie, dude. Do not be threatened. I am merely an entertainer. I'm going to start using that too when I walk into a room.
But
do not feel threatened.
I just want to say this too. I just bought tickets. So Friday, I'm taking my daughter to go see Spider-Man. So I'm pretty pumped.
Oh, I want to see it. I'm so worried about spoilers, and this is like one of the few movies I'm still worried about spoilers because I just want to see.
That's why I have to see it on Friday because I'm sure.
Yes, see, I know.
If you open your phone on Saturday,
I'm coming from college, so
you're
we have to wait for him to get here.
You don't have to do. Just don't tell him you saw it.
Tell him I didn't see it.
But I'm telling you, you're gonna have to stay.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to stay off the internet until you watch it because someone's gonna spoil something. You're gonna see, and that's why I was like, nope, I need to see
even
it right
just
away.
memes. Like they'll meme something, and I'm like, that's a spoiler. You may not realize it. You think you're being really clever and cheeky.
I accidentally texted a guy from work, Ty, about F1. I'm like, did you see the ending? It was crazy. And he's like, I haven't seen it yet. He's like, and I never talked to this guy, but I know he watches the F1 car race thing. And did you watch it, Ty? Do you know what happened? So
I don't.
Well, there's this guy. F1 is the car, the crazy track race. So he, a guy that's won 7 years in a row this year, like he was easily going to win, no problem. Like he had the best car, everything. And then there was an accident, so they had to slow everybody down. So the other guy got right behind him. And so the other guy couldn't get his tires changed because if he did, then everybody would have passed him.
Oh, no.
And so the guy saw a little tiny opening, took it, and then he lost. So
Unreal. Dude, I feel so bad. Back in, this was like 2010 or 11, I spoiled the Olympic Games for somebody. They were waiting to watch.
Oh.
Like a soccer. I ruined a soccer game finale. It was like, I was like, oh, Germany, they got bronze, didn't they? I ruined it for him. And he's like, he didn't know. He thought they were going to like go on to play. And I was like, he did not know, and I ruined it for him. I felt so bad.
Didn't at the end of that F1 race, too, some guy came out with whips and he started cutting cars in half, and then Iron Man fights him right there on the track? I'm pretty sure that happened.
His best companion was a bird. He needed his bird, I think. He was yelling something about a bird.
I want my bird. Not my bird.
So, I was so bummed about that because Sam Rockwell, they had a great cast. What happened?
Yeah, and even what's his face, plastic surgery incarnate Mickey Rourke. He's something. And
dude, I'm a wrestler. You guys are gonna mock me. I know you guys do, but like Iron Man 2 is like my favorite of all three of them. Like I love that.
Oh my gosh, stop talking.
I love it so much. I don't love it as much as Captain Marvel, but I do love it. It's up there. Those are my two guilty pleasures: Iron Man 2 and Captain Marvel.
Stop. Iron Man 1, nothing will beat that movie. That is by far the best.
Iron Man 2 beats it. I'm sorry, that whole F1 scene.
Well, we have to end the podcast.
F1 scene where he has the suitcase armor and he sticks his fists in it, and it like dude, that's like the coolest scene ever in a movie. Like I turn into a 7-year-old boy every single time I watch that movie.
All right, Bryce, do you have a social media presence that that you want people to find you on?
I probably shouldn't after I said that, right? Jordan's like, it doesn't matter. You're never coming on here again.
We have like one fan, so that one fan might come after you.
So for the one fan,
he'll ask, "Hey, where's the movie? I'm just listening to a podcast about the movie reviews. I'm trying to find the copy version of the movie."
So I finished recording the album finally. It's in the mixing and mastering stage right now. So that will be done and out at the beginning of 2022. So I was going by Bryce, but it was too hard to find. So now it's Done Messed Up. So soundcloud.com/Done Messed Up, all one word, and then it's me. And then I will have the album out soon. So it'll be on, Spotify, YouTube, music, all that stuff, iTunes, whatever. But then I've got a couple stuff up on YouTube under Done Messed Up as well. So YouTube and Spotify, Done Messed Up. It's me. And if you don't don't check it out, you done messed up. See what I did there?
You done messed up. Oh yeah, you done missed an opportunity. Bryce, we love having you on. Everybody, this has been Futro Hidden Movie Gems. Leave us an email, futromovies@gmail.com. Like us, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And you can check us out on our Patreon. Guys, have a blessed day. Merry early Christmas.
Happy days. Happy days.
Happy Hanukkah. Happy Kwanzaa to all you Jewish people out there. So I have nothing else to say. This has been Futro Hidden Movie Gem signing out. Peace. Okay. It's the best impression I can do.